Happy New Year and welcome to the first episode of 2021. This is Warped, the completely unnecessary Star Trek podcast where we watch live Star Trek The Next Generation episodes and provide audio commentary tracks. My name is Matt.
I'm Sean.
I'm Jake.
Aaron.
Inwin.
Oh, no.
Yay, we made it, guys.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, 2021.
Oh my gosh, what the hell? It's not 2020 again. It's not a time warp. Is it really 2021? Can someone confirm?
I think we survived. Like, it would be ironic if something terrible happened between now and when this episode comes out. But so far, things are looking okay.
Yeah,
we're looking good.
So far, the COVID is not great. That's worse than it's ever been.
But now we might actually have someone who wants to do something about it in charge, so that could change too.
That's a nice thought. And we are here to watch Season 2, Episode 14 of Star Trek The Next Generation. It is called The Icarus Factor, which I think makes it sound more interesting than it actually is. We'll see what people's thoughts are.
I like to call it Riker's daddy issues.
Oh.
Yeah,
I like to call it
that.
Epitome of toxic masculinity.
There's a lot of that.
I like to call it Worf's on his period and blasting Riker's mom.
Wow.
I like to call it there are no stakes in this episode and nothing is at risk. It's completely pointless. It's all just character stuff. But anyway,
that title's too long.
They called it the Icarus Factor.
Sean, how much time?
I got 45 minutes and 36 seconds on the clock, and I'm punching the triangle in 3, 2, 1, punch.
Yeah, there she is. All right.
And there she is.
There's literally nothing at stake in this episode. Like, no one's at risk. There's no danger.
The only is whether or not Riker's going to take the job, but you know he's not going to take the job, so there's not even stakes there.
It's not even really.
Riker's not.
They're gonna show their emotions.
Yeah, a lot of people on this show have issues with their parents. You know, like Riker's got this whole thing with his dad. Data's got a whole panoply of relatives that he has issues with.
Wait, other androids that he's got issues
No,
with?
like his creator and all of those.
Oh, okay.
Oh, his brother too.
Brother.
Riker's got. I mean, Worf's got weird family daddy issues.
Yes.
Wesley's dad is dead. They all have parent stuff on this show.
Yeah,
not all of them.
Troy has a thing with her mom.
Troy's thing is with her mom. Yeah, they all have it. Riker, Picard doesn't, because you never really see Jean-Luc's. Well, we saw his mom once in that weird like vision that he had of her.
And he does have an estranged relationship with his brother.
He's got a problem with his brother, yeah.
Wait, but do his parents look noticeably older than he does?
Yeah, well, the woman that they hired to play his mother in that episode looked 150 years old.
Oh, really?
Wow. I mean, at some point you just got to stop having mommy and daddy issues. You're like a grandpa.
Request denied.
There you go.
It was a scene where they're having tea. They're having tea together.
Yes, they have a bit.
It was a very old. They cast a very old woman to play.
Can we get a skeleton?
Patrick Stewart is not that old in this.
No,
like, he was, in his 40s. He was not.
I know. I think it's the gray hair and the no hair.
It's the bald. Yeah, I mean, he's so low. He's one of those guys who
he exudes wisdom, so we just think he's like.
He's as handsome now as he was then, because he looks like the same as he did then.
He really does.
He looked older when he was young, and now that he's old, he looks.
Yeah.
He looked the same. He looked more or less
like Wilford Brimley
for a long time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wilford Brimley looked like that when he was 20 and just kept looking like that till he died.
We watched, I forget if I told you guys this, we watched The Thing a few weeks ago, the John Carpenter version of The Thing from the 80s.
Yeah,
Wilford Brimley's in that, and he looks exactly, I mean, he just looks like Wilford Brimley always, all the time.
Yeah.
No matter when, no matter what.
He was probably like 30 when he made that movie.
Yeah, he was not old. And it was just amazing as always to see.
So we are watching season 2, episode 14, The Icarus Factor. Original air date April 22nd, 1989. Riker's delight at being offered a command of the USS Ares turns to frustration when the man sent to prepare him for his mission is his estranged father. Worf's behavior leads Wesley to delve into Klingon tradition. Aaron, watch the episode?
Yep.
What would you say the IMDb rating is?
Personally, I give it a 9. This has got to grab me.
nine?
What?
Wow.
Jeez.
But it's probably good.
That's what I love about I'm doing this with Erin is I can never predict what her take on a thing is going to be.
So,
great.
but what do you think IMDb?
It's because I'm so used to like what the conventional Star Trek opinion is, like because I've been in this for so long
Sure.
that I just kind of know like what the general fan impression is of certain things. So it's like seeing it through brand new eyes,
Fresh.
watching it.
Mhm.
You know, it's great.
You're like a babe.
I would have said
You'd
like
give
a
it a
5.
9.
If I was going to say.
What do you think the IMDb rating is, though, Aaron?
A 6.5.
You said 5.5, Matt?
Yeah.
May? Did you watch the episode?
7. I watched it, and I'll give it a 7.
All right.
I give it a
Jake?
flat 6.
And win?
6.5. I'll
6-3.
split the difference. Oh.
So Jake wins.
Hey.
Price is Right rules.
Picard's a little bit of a dick here because Picard knows that the guy who's coming on board is Riker's dad, but he doesn't give him a heads up and warn him. He's just like, oh, yeah, you should go meet with the guy, and I think you'll find him very interesting, and doesn't tell him, oh, it's your dad who you hate. Maybe Picard doesn't know that they don't get along.
Yeah, he assumes that they're going to have a great time reuniting.
Right, it's going to be a nice, happy surprise for them.
Yeah.
So there he is.
Yep.
What's that guy?
Kyle Riker. Actor is Mitchell Ryan, who
I've seen him before. What is he?
I think most people know him as Greg's dad on Dharma and Greg.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He was also the bad guy in Lethal Weapon.
Oh.
In the
But he
first
looks
one.
like he's been in
First.
older TV shows.
Yeah, he's been around forever. I mean, he's been in he was in everything. You know, Golden Girls, Jake and the Fat Man. I mean, you name it. But yeah, he was he was Gary Busey's boss in Lethal Weapon.
Riker has blue eyes, but Riker's dad has brown eyes.
It can happen.
Yeah.
It can be a small B. So I decided, you guys, maybe we already covered this because we've talked about it before, but I decided that the reason why they all have one-piece suits, including Riker's dad, is that they don't need to pee anymore. They've moved past that.
Or, like they've taken out all of those.
They don't need it. They don't need to expunge.
I mean, you could be right. They famously never show the toilet on this show. Like, you never see the bathroom. Sometimes you see people at a sink, like
See, they all just have a jumpsuit. I mean,
Do they have like a transporter that just transports their urine out of their body out into space?
Yeah, it's just like an implant. They just put an implant in your body, a little mini transporter, and it just beams that shit away into space.
Reasonable
Why not?
thought process. I did have a thought, and I asked this in all sincerity. I'm not making a joke. Why do they get the signal USS when it's the Federation that they are part of? Why are they still called the United States ships?
It might not mean United States. It could be United Space or United Systems.
Is there an answer, Matt? Do you know?
Well, yes, I think it stands for United Spaceship.
Yeah, or Starship, right?
It doesn't
I think it's been both.
It doesn't stand for. It doesn't have any
Spaceship.
reference to America, right? It's
just a happy coincidence.
Yeah, I think it's just supposed to mean like United Starship or something like that.
this is where I'm going to start the rumor that Pulaski is Riker's mom.
So there they are in 10 forward, but no whoopee.
No
this
whoopee.
week.
know, I
Yeah,
was
it's just
looking
got
for
some
Like
blonde.
who's that girl bartending? I don't know
bar
her.
over there.
Well, Whoopi needs some time off too. You got to show others at the bar working it.
She's drinking a gigantic blue thing, whatever that is.
She's like all the doctors on this show. She's an alcoholic just like the rest of them.
Lush, just like the rest of them. Beverly kind of breaks that tradition. She's the one.
Yeah, she doesn't. She's not old school like Bones and Pulaski.
Pulaski comes off as such a boss in this episode. She talks about like, I got married and then I got married again and then I got married again and we're all still friends. I'm like, girl, you have lived.
Yeah. I was like, ooh, is she a Black Widow? Or
I forgot about this. I forgot that they knew each other.
Yeah. It's interesting too, because in the last episode when he's cooking, he makes a reference that it was his father, and she like goes, really?
Yeah.
Your father liked to cook? And he's like, well, no, actually he made me cook, so I had to learn how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird that they had a reference to his father in last week's episode too. Must just be a weird coincidence. I don't feel like they would have thought that far in advance.
I don't think so, especially because who knows when these were shot. I
guess still just understood that he was on his own, like that mom died or something.
Yeah, his mom died young, and he basically lived with his dad and hated his dad.
Yeah.
Wesley is such a busybody. Yeah. He's like, something's up with Worf. We should all team up.
We gotta fix it. We gotta fix it.
That's why I think it's Worf's time of the month.
This is sort of a Wesley fixes this is sort of a Wesley fixes the episode.
I totally agree with you, Matt. But Wesley is sort of like he's a fixer, right? He likes to build systems, to repair them. So he imagines people the same.
Do we count B stories where Wesley solves the problem on our Wesley chart?
If we do, then this is definitely one.
Yeah. Count it. Can't wait for the Klingon pain stick.
I'll count it. I said I was going to be a liberal counter. Yeah. So I will mark it down. We have 6 now. That was number 6 of Wesley saves.
The percentages are going way down now because.
Yeah, we had 5 right up at the front, and it's been a long time since we had one.
Yeah.
Update the Post-it note. Do you guys remember what your numbers were? I wrote them down at the time. Do you remember what you
think? I said 10.
You said 12. Min said 9. Philippe said 15. I don't have a number for Jake or for Aaron. I don't know.
I feel like it was either like 12 or 15.
I would just be guessing a number. So
yeah, it would have been high.
So were we.
So his dad is like a big deal. Like people know who he is.
I mean, look at that body sweater he has on.
Look at his outfit. I mean, he's got a great head of hair for.
Yeah, he's got a good head shape.
Yeah.
He's like those like Fisher Price characters I used to play with that are just.
He's got that sort of very generic. I'm a handsome older man kind of look to him, you know.
Yeah.
So what is his deal? He's like famous, but he's not in Starfleet. He's famous for something else.
He's like a strategic consultant, I think.
Yeah, and isn't he like know a bunch of languages too or something? Thought that came up at one point.
That could be right.
But like the ship he's going on is going on some serious mission, right?
Yeah.
It's like Riker could be putting himself in harm's way just by going on taking the command.
This is the first. I did not remember that it happened this early, but this whole sort of minor run error that they do of Riker deciding whether or not to leave the Enterprise to become a captain, it comes up more than just in this episode. It comes up kind of every once in a while, I would say. This comes up again, and Picard's always like, you would make a great captain, and Riker's like, but I love working on the Enterprise, so I don't want to go.
Yeah, Picard's always like, congratulations, you know, he'd take it. Like, why wouldn't you take it? Why wouldn't you want to be a captain?
Because Picard's wanted to be a captain since he was a kid, right? Like, this is his dream job. So he always seems a little bewildered whenever Riker is like, I'm okay I'm number 2. That's okay. Or number one. I guess they call him number one.
Number one.
Even though he's technically number two.
Right.
Because Picard is number one, if you think about it.
Picard's captain. You start with the captain and you go around the circle.
Captain doesn't
it's like
have
big booty.
Captain doesn't have a number. Captain is
Right. It's like big booty.
It's round. It's 0. The buck stops there with the captain. So, and it also probably makes you feel better if you're number 2, but you're called number 1.
No, he's the first
Nobody
mate.
wants to be called number 2.
Yeah. Well, do you think poops like to be called number 2? No, they want to be number 1.
Well, Data's the number 2 on this ship, and we do know that he poops. So,
but he doesn't have to, because not even the humans have to poop.
Nobody does anymore. I'm going to say
in
nobody.
Alaska.
yes.
Right? Which is why the one picture that he has of his parent, if his dad is a
photoshopped.
A primitive. It wasn't even. This was long before Photoshop.
There's a mosquito by the microphone.
Oh my God! Look at that. That's pretty.
That is Denali, though. It is a picture of Denali. I saw that.
Is it?
Yes.
So they made some effort. They didn't just get like a generic stock photo.
It's not like Kilimanjaro.
Right.
I wonder who the kid is playing young Will in those photographs.
No, it's not.
Could it be maybe young?
The only other thing that's entertaining about this episode is in the Klingons B plot. They go to the Klingon like ceremony. One of the Klingons in that room is John Tesh.
Oh, I knew that. I knew that. I can remember that when it happened.
Yeah.
I can remember that was like they made a big deal out of it on Entertainment Tonight that John Tesh was going to be on Star Trek.
Right.
That's funny. Aaron is hunting down mosquitoes right now.
Yeah,
I hate that. That is like so frustrating.
Pissing me off lately. This is not why we pay the big bucks in SoCal.
Yeah.
There's an invasive species that is taken over. No joke.
Min is very susceptible to mosquito bites because when we were in Palm Springs that first night, Min and I were sitting outside, in the jacuzzi or sitting next to people. And Min was getting like beat up. He like every 5 seconds he was like, there's another one.
I know they have certain ones that they like.
Preferences?
They don't. They did not like me. Like I
got the sweet blood, man.
Yeah.
I told Min it was all the vodka in my system. Like
it's toxic. Yeah.
You got one drunk and he didn't want to give up the goods, so he just kept sucking himself.
Yeah. That sounded,
Yeah.
So anyway, Min gets bit by a lot.
Yeah.
They like Min.
Yeah. And mosquitoes are so hard to hunt down. They are like
in particular. These are acting different than my usual mosquito. They're wily in a weird way, and they're not particularly hungry, so they'll take their time.
Yeah.
But there are a few got in the house just because, sometimes we have the door to the back open and dripping.
So just to do a quick plot update, it seems like the dad is trying to be nice and Will is the one who's the dick and has to learn to get over his problems. Yeah. Is that what
Dad's suited and he's pissed about that.
I mean, the dad is making an effort in so much as he is able to. He's not being super conciliatory.
He's not on his hands and knees.
Yeah, he's right about the next conversation. He's going to be like, you know what? F off. I gave you 13 years. What more do you want from me?
I know. I was like, damn.
Did these two used to fuck? Because they are being very flirty with each other.
They kiss.
Yeah, they used to fuck.
Pulaski's Riker's mom.
Pulaski and Riker's daddy were a thing.
Well, I knew that they were friends. I did not know that they had a relationship in the past. So that means she must have known Will when he was a kid, or when he was, whenever this.
Unless it was before he was born.
I guess I was just assuming that it was after Will's mom died that he dated Pulaski, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I got the impression it was when they were pretty young.
It was like before they all got married.
Yeah, but maybe not. I don't know.
Hmm.
They at least boned at a Christmas party.
I mean, Troy should really be an important part of this episode because
she's zeroing in.
I mean, empathy is like the whole deal. Like this is a situation built for Deanna Troy.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's got the skill set for this kind of thing.
Oh, and that's probably why Riker and Troy had a thing, because she could really identify and maybe break through the walls. And yeah,
they're both hot. I think
they're both hot. Yeah, let's just get down to the brass tacks.
She is really hot. Marina Sirtis really is.
Yeah, I mean, I know what she looks like with that off because of how tight that outfit is. Like, I know it's good under there.
Everything under there looks just fine, Marina.
Yeah.
Yep,
just fine.
Everything is in order.
Girlfriend.
I mean, we've talked about this before, but you hardly ever see overweight people on Star Trek. Certainly not in Starfleet, because the uniforms are so unforgiving that if you're not in amazing shape, you're not going to get into the leotard. You know. Well,
Riker's dad's got a little. He's got a little.
He's not Starfleet though. I'm talking about like the people who have to wear the one piece, jumpsuits. Like
his is an old person one piece.
I don't know. I'd pop that hood.
Take it for a spin drive.
Kick the tires.
Wow.
Why not?
I wasn't ready for that one.
Yeah. Aaron's got a lot of surprises.
Sweater on. It's not very forgiving. I think he's keeping it tight.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
His profile was a little pudgy there.
No, it's comfortable. Comfortable. Yeah. Nothing wrong with being comfortable.
Oh, God. TC's not plugged in?
Amen.
Yeah.
Do you remember the other day on one of the group chats, Jake, I think, posted a GIF of a champagne bottle cork flying off of a bottle and like breaking an egg. It was like a little cartoony GIF. And you replied to that, and your reply to that was something like, "I've never come that hard in my life."
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but that made me wonder about how hard people come, like generally speaking.
I don't think it's that hard. Yeah.
So I Googled it.
The blast radius is?
No, just like the force.
We're gonna go. I want to hear people's guesses. How fast do you think sperm travels when it exits the penis?
I think it's pretty fast.
What is it in? What's the answer?
It is in miles per hour.
Miles per hour.
Oh my God.
Miles per hour?
I thought it'd be nautical miles.
It should be nautical miles.
Sure.
I'd say
they look like they should be wearing jaunty little white hats. Like if you see them up close, they'd look good.
I mean, they are seeing it.
60. I'm going to say 60 miles per hour.
28.
80.
45.
Aaron, you want to guess?
It's not a chameleon's tongue, guys.
25.
Jake was closest. Jake said 28. The answer is 31 miles per hour.
That was pretty close.
Which, and this article went out of the way to point out, is faster than a Peruvian jaguar.
Wow.
That's pretty good. You're faster than a Peruvian jaguar.
Wow. So you're saying I could come in its eye before it got out of the way?
Yeah, I guess. In whatever scenario that would be, where you are masturbating while being attacked by a jaguar. I guess.
Well,
I'm like that.
That is the classic defense against being attacked by a Peruvian panther. Start jerking off. That's what they tell you to do.
Right, man. You could just get that thing right in the eye, and maybe.
Isn't that the classic high school yearbook title? Like most likely to be masturbating while being attacked by a Peruvian jaguar.
That's right. Jordan won that the year we graduated.
He's still holding on to that.
Believe won that our year.
Well, that is surprising. 30 miles an hour. In the movie Blade Runner, they say the androids burned twice as intensely, so they lived half as long. I think my sperm comes out twice as fast, so I have half as much enjoyment of it. I don't know.
That, where you started with that and where you ended with that is not where I thought. I would not have been able to predict that.
I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna get a Blade Runner tidbit, and it didn't end up being really that good about.
And then it was like, my orgasms are sad. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Maybe you should consult a urologist or something.
Therapist. Yeah. Mm-mm. Well,
does anybody want to do recommendations? I have some I don't have a corrections corner this week, but I have a bunch of recommendations. Or we could just talk about something else.
Recommend.
The point is, the problem with this episode is nothing really happens. It's just a lot of people talking about their feelings.
Yes, there's not a lot. The end where there's
not a lot to talk about.
In the crazy stormtrooper suits.
Oh yeah, when they fight in the Jennifer Lopez outfit from the cell, we should talk about that.
There's also some good Klingon stuff coming up, but for a while it's just
he gets attacked with pain sticks.
Pain sticks, you guys. That's why I give it a 9.
So do your recommendations before we get to that point.
Jake, play the recommendation jingle.
Recommendations.
I watched Gremlins 2 the other night.
Yeah.
Wow.
And let me tell you, Gremlins 2 is a masterpiece.
It is a masterpiece. I totally agree.
It is a great, funny movie. Yep. And it is, Stan actually said this, so I can't claim credit for it, but I wish I could because it's such a great observation. He said Gremlins 2 is exactly like Babe Pig in the City. Mm-hmm. It's the exact same thing where they moved the main character, the pig or the gremlin, from the suburbs to the city, and the story is just crazy compared to the first one. And I was just like, damn, Stan's exactly right. Gremlins 2 is the Babe Pig in the City of Gremlins.
Secretly masterpieces, both of them.
So funny, and it's so smart, and it's just, people didn't like it because they were expecting Gremlins 1 again, and instead they got a completely
3, girl.
I love the running joke about why Phoebe Cates' character hates all holidays. It's like something terrible has happened on every holiday.
So, she has that long, because there's that long Gremlins 1 where she explains
about her father dying.
In the chimney because he was dressed as Santa Claus and got stuck. She has this long monologue in Gremlins 1 where she tells this horrible story. And then in Gremlins 2, she starts to tell, because Gremlins 2, she starts to tell a story about another horrible thing that happened. And the characters are all just like, no. We don't have time for this right now. We're busy fighting gremlins. So they're making fun of themselves, of the first movie. It's really funny. So I would highly recommend Gremlins 2, especially if you have never seen it or only sort of remember that it had a bad... People didn't like it at the time.
No, it got a really terrible response, and it was a total flop.
I think it just like Babe, like Babe 2, same thing. People didn't get it, but it is really good, and
it's really funny. I've always defended that movie.
If you're, 'tis the season. Well, not as you're listening to this because it's January 1st, 2021, but
still the holiday season.
Yeah. To you, my friends, who I do this podcast with, you could watch too if you wanted to. I started watching this. There's a show on Netflix called Song Exploder. It's based on a podcast that I listened to.
The podcast.
Yeah, so that guy got a Netflix deal, and so now there's a TV version of it. So what it is, for people who don't know, the podcast is every week he picks one song, like a famous song, and talks to all of the people involved in making it about how they made it. But it's called Song Explorer because he gets really down into the nitty gritty of what's the bass line doing in this moment of the song. And then they'll play just the bass line from a song that you've heard a million times, but you've never just heard what the bass is doing.
Was he on radio before that? Before he had a podcast?
Was he what?
Was he on regular radio doing this before the podcast?
I don't know, but maybe. I've only heard it as
a radio show for a station that doesn't exist anymore that did that. I just think it's such a unique skill. I wonder if it's the same guy. Did you say his name?
Rishikesh Hirway. He's Indian American. Okay. And it's a really good podcast, and it really works as a TV show too. So the two that I watched last night with Stan were he did an episode about Wait For It from Hamilton, where he talked to Lynn and the orchestrator and all the people who were involved in that. And then he did an episode about Losing My Religion, which was really good. Like, you've never really thought about Losing My Religion's like individual components.
Sure.
But you hear just the drum track of Losing My Religion, and you're like, wow, that's really good. And it's just a really interesting way of looking at a song, because you don't think about all the individual things that go into it.
Yeah.
But
the blend.
So it's called Song Exploder, and it's on Netflix, and it's really, really good. I recommend it highly.
Yeah. There's another podcast called Tape Notes that's very similar to Song Exploder, so I've listened to both of them. I really like the breakdowns that they do. I think Song Exploder does more famous bands, whereas Tape Notes, I think it's a little more indie and sort of like fringe stuff, but both sort of similar things. They'll sort of like talk about how the song was made and individual elements. So
is this where they're about to start karate thing?
I think so.
Or hitting each other with sticks or whatever.
Yeah, and the way they decide to do it is so funny, because it's like, he's like, it's too bad there's not a ring where we can fight this out. And he's like, there is on level blah, blah, blah. And they're like, let's go.
Yeah,
it's not the holodeck. It's like an actual like gym on the ship.
Yeah, Anbo Jutsu gym.
Yep, the gymnasium.
Gymnasium.
Okay.
This is sort of like a Klingon ceremony right here, it feels like. Very like we have to battle it out.
I mean, this is Freudian AF. Like, this is like, it's like every young man has always dreamed of beating up his father in a
killing his father
in a jiu-jitsu competition or whatever.
I love how like everybody's concerned about them being hurt, but when you look at what they actually do, it's just like, how would anybody get hurt
doing that?
I mean, it's basically, isn't it what they used to do on American Gladiators? Yes. Don't they have big Q-tip sticks that they're hitting each other with?
Way more padding.
Yeah, they're padded up.
But they have like stormtrooper outfits on.
It's not like either of them is going to suffer any kind of serious injury, right?
Oh.
Is Jake's point.
Well, they're pulling their punches, but imagine like if someone like Sean were get in the ring with you, it's game over.
Sean is a pacifist. What are you talking about? Sean would never. Sean, I don't think Sean would be.
I can honestly say I've never been in a fight.
Me neither. I'm a coward. I don't want to have any.
My life, I avoid physical conflict as often as I can.
That's good.
I slapped Jonas hard as hell once at Matt and Lisa's wedding. I think that's the closest thing I ever did to a fight.
Were you mad, or it was like jokey?
No, I was mad. I forget what about now. Okay. That was a crazy day, as you remember. But I don't remember what I was mad at him about. But I slapped the fuck out of him. He was not expecting it either. Out of nowhere.
But did he deserve it?
I felt terrible.
Probably.
I'm sure he deserved it.
He absolutely deserved it. I can't remember why, but I'm sure I'm right.
Yeah.
I love that.
I don't know what happened. I didn't see it, but if it's between Matt and Jonas, I'm sure Jonas did something wrong.
It wasn't even that he did something to me. I think he had said or been mean to somebody else who was
the worst people sometimes.
And that was a particularly insane experience, because I'm sure I've told this story on the podcast before, but we went to our friend's wedding on a party bus.
Shuttle bus. Yeah.
They rented, because they live in Orange County. We were all living in sort of the west side at the time.
Up in LA.
And
it was down in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
And they rented a party bus for us Well, it was just a regular bus, but we brought the party. We like, so we had started drinking at like 10 in the morning when we got on the bus, right? So by the time we got to the party, we were already
Far gone.
2/3 way
Hammered.
and just
totally.
proceeded to get even more and more and more. So over the course of the evening.
But that was very responsible.
And then Min, like 5 minutes before, I was supposed to give a little speech at this party, and they kept pushing it because everyone was like eating and drinking, and so they kept saying, "Oh, it's gonna be another 20 minutes. It's gonna be another 20 minutes. It's gonna be another 20 minutes." And then Min was like, "Let's go get high." So Min and I walked down this like long ass driveway down so nobody could see us, and Min gets me high, and then like literally, as we're walking back from getting stoned,
Who knew?
They're like, the time is now. Matt came up to me and he was like, "You ready?"
Your speech is right now.
I shouldn't say his last name. We'll cut that part out. But he was like, "You ready? It's time." And I'm like, "Time? Min just smoked me out like 5 minutes ago. I'm high as hell and drunk since 10 in the morning. And by now it's like 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night. I don't remember. It felt late. It was dark. And then I had to give a speech. It didn't go great.
We remember the good.
I can honestly say I have no recollection of what you said, so it doesn't really matter.
Nobody
Well, I
agrees
was
with you.
worried about you guys. I was more worried about like Matt and Lisa's parents are there. And, like, I was just worried about. I don't think I made a spectacle of myself, but I don't think I was quite as funny or witty as I thought I was being.
We are our worst critics, really.
I don't think a lot of the jokes landed with
Pain stick, you guys.
parents.
We've made it to the pain stick.
Jabbing him with pain sticks.
He's like all happy to be here too.
So worst deal is that he didn't get to have his bar mitzvah, basically,
Yeah.
and so
Right.
they throw him one.
Yeah.
Except it's the Klingon version where they poke you with sticks.
With pain sticks.
That make your head explode.
Is this supposed to be in the holodeck or like
Yes.
an actual?
No, it's in the holodeck.
And Wesley's the one who figured this out.
Yep.
Yeah,
How did he
he's
figure
like,
it out?
"What's wrong?" That's what he's
They
like.
said, well, he went to Data and Geordi, and he's like, something's going on with Worf. We got to
No, I
figure
saw
out what
that
it
part. How did Wesley
then
figure out what
He
actually
looks
was?
it up. He just looks up the Klingon history. He just tries to
He
figure
just
out
looked
what
up
it is.
why are Klingons in a foul
Well,
mood.
yeah, just sort
And,
of.
and the
traces it.
Google response
Why
was
is Worf being a bitch right now?
maybe he didn't get
They need
stabbed with
pain
paint
sticks. Never got his pain sticks.
Well, that's learning. He educated himself, and then he helped out his friend.
Yep.
At the beginning, it's funny, Matt, because you were like,
the solution was I looked it up online. Like, okay, that's it's not the highest of drama that I've ever heard.
Well, it was more about getting the thing together.
Yeah.
How we figure
the
out
journey more than the
to
destination.
Get the party. How are we going to figure out a way to do it?
Mm. It's funny because at the beginning of the episode, you were like,
How are we going to
what
figure
a-
out how to do it?
What a
we have
busybody.
we have a magic room that can look like anything. That's how we're going to do it.
Mhm.
It was a
Did they have
B
to
storyline.
trick him?
What do you want?
They
The
have
main storyline is about Riker's daddy's issues.
Well, so is
it was
Worf.
simply
kind
a
of.
B plot
They're both
line.
about coming of age, right? They're both about sort of being
Yes.
adults, sort of.
Comfortable with yourself.
Did Worf have to be tricked to go to the holodeck? Did they have to tell him it was for something else? They're like,
yeah,
it's
I
George's
think she didn't
birthday.
really
We're
tell
all
him
going to
what
go
it
to become
was.
a holodeck.
Deanna's job was to take him there.
Uh-huh.
So do you still think that Wesley was a busybody, like sort of interfering? Yeah.
Yes.
Even though it helped out.
Well, you can
Yes.
you can help people and still be a busybody.
Okay.
I'm cool with it.
If some random teenage boy you work with came up to you and was like, "You seem depressed. I'm going to throw you a party."
I'll be like, awesome.
I mean, that
Thanks
does
for-
sound pretty good.
I'd just be worried about how good of a party that 13-year-old boy could throw. There we go.
Guys,
There they are.
you too.
Have you seen Tron?
The guy on the left is Tron, and the guy on the right is and Will is Jennifer Lopez in that serial killer.
Right. The cell.
Good.
That's who they're cosplaying as. It's like we're at a Star Trek convention, but neither of us are just as Star Trek characters.
I kind of want somebody to like double check all the Asian script that's on these things.
I know, right?
I have
See
doubts.
what it really reads.
Yeah, like when you see those girls who have the wrong tattoo or whatever. Yeah, it's what do you suppose those symbols actually say?
Yeah, it's like lobster bisque.
Sure, you can find out. I'm sure someone has screenshotted it and looked it up.
Well, I mean, I've been overseas where the opposite, where it is like random English words.
Oh.
My favorite brand was Sport Milky.
Did it taste good? I think that answers it.
I wonder how many people cosplay as these guys. If you go to like a Star Trek convention.
I'm sure. I'll bet it's pretty popular. I'll bet it is. It's like it's got a built-in
ridiculous.
weapon, you know,
Yeah, you get to carry around a big stick all day.
instead of a little phaser like most of them are.
Let's do it, you guys. Let's get all suited and booted.
Well, there aren't any conventions happening in the near future.
Anytime soon.
Yeah. When there's conventions again, let's figure out our costumes.
Well, we missed Star Trek Las Vegas this year because this was the year we were talking about going, and obviously that didn't happen.
Yeah.
But maybe next year, maybe next August, we can go.
Yeah, if we're not all still quarantined and cooped up. I think if the quarantine goes too much longer, there's going to be a small percentage of the population that goes a little Looney Tunes.
You don't think that's already happened?
Yeah, it's probably already happened. Yeah.
The amount of it is going to expand. I don't think that isn't already happening.
Well, we're just got to do our best, guys. Just got to do our best. Are they supposed to be blind with those visors?
Yes.
Oh.
But the sticks have some kind of sensor because they point and they light up.
Oh. Okay.
I would not want to be doing this. Just for the record.
It seems like it would make me dizzy. And this
super tempting.
This cat keeps wanting to chew on the cords. Both of my cats, for some reason, love to chew on cords. So I'm kind of fighting this constant battle, trying to keep them from chewing on like the earbud cord and the microphone cord and all that shit. You step away from the mic for like 30 seconds, and there's a cat like right on it.
Yeah.
Oh, the life of a cat owner. Sounds lovely.
I saw this T-shirt. It said, "Sorry, I'm late. My cat was laying on me." I was like, I gotta get that. It's like 95% of my life.
It's all coming out right now with between Will and his dad.
I know the emotional turnaround in this scene is like it pivots on a dime and is like really unsatisfying. It's kind of just like, but things were crazy and I couldn't talk about it. I was like, okay, all right.
Here it comes. How do you feel?
It does seem like how a parent-son, dad-son conversation would go.
The love.
Yeah.
He said it. They look at each other. Now they're all good.
And that's all it takes, man. You just have to say it.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's all it takes.
It's all it takes after you get all padded up and you swing
Beat
sticks
each other
at
with
other.
sticks.
They sort
There's
of
a lot of stick violence
be
in
valid.
this episode.
This is a very sticky episode.
Yeah.
A lot of
That's why I
sticks
like
in this
this.
episode.
Riker didn't
Very
seem
phallic.
totally satisfied. He seemed like he was holding back.
I mean,
My
are you
feet
ever
doesn't-
really satisfied when you're trying to talk to your dad?
Only if you're sweaty. You have to be the right amount of sweaty.
Freud would have a field day of the idea of a father and son beating each other with phallic-like symbols.
That's
So you
Christmas,
guys,
right?
do you guys remember that we were talking a few weeks, a couple episodes ago about the After series of books and novels?
Yes, because the movie had just come out.
After We Collided, which is the second one. So who knows about this? Does anybody know about this? Because I had to read about it in order to understand it.
No,
Has anybody heard of these before?
Nope.
I just saw that the movie was the same guy who directed Cruel Intentions, so that's what we started talking about it.
So these are a series of books that are sort of like YA versions of 50 Shades of Grey. So there's none of the like explicit sex and stuff, but it's about
So it's back
it's
to
this-
Twilight.
yeah, it's back to Twilight. And they
Ping pong
started, you know how we said that 50 Shades started as Twilight fanfic on the internet, and then she did it to its own story. After is based on fiction about One Direction. So the main boy in the books is supposed to be Harry Styles from One Direction, formerly of One Direction. So she started this writing these fanfics about Harry Styles having a relationship with this girl, and it's sort of he's dark and broody and she's, you know, whatever. It's Twilight, it's 50 Shades, it's all the same story over and over again. But that's how it started, and then became really popular. And so she just changed the name basically, and his name in the books is Hardin Scott instead of Harry Styles.
Is he still in a boy band?
A rebellious, brooding British student who Tessa is drawn to. The girl's name is Tessa. So anyway, these books became super popular, just like with 50 Shades. And then they turned them into these movies, but they are not, the movies apparently are not good. Although they must have been successful enough because they made a second one. But
oh, so the one that just came out is the sequel?
The first book is called After. The second book was called After We Collided. The third book is called After We Fell. The fourth book is called After Ever Happy. And the fifth and final, the fifth book is really a separate thing because it's called Before, and it's the same story as After, but told from the point of view of the boy.
Wow. Everybody's doing that. Huh?
Which is the exact same thing that the Twilight and 50 Shades ladies both did.
Oh my god, I love it.
Just rewrite the first book and change all the he's to she, and you're done. You've written a book.
Replace all
$10 million right there.
So the book
bring
the
up
series
the
books is very
manuscript
popular. But the movies, I guess, are not. Didn't even know they had made. I'd never heard of this, of these things, but they made one, and now they've made a second one. The interesting thing about the movies is that the girl in them is not that interesting. I think she's on that. She was on some TV show, Wolf Creek or some TV show. The boy in the movies is named Hero Finds Tiffin, and he is the nephew of Rafe and Joseph Fiennes.
Okay.
Rafe Fiennes and Joseph Fiennes are his uncles, and his mother is their sister, I think, and she's a director. So he's part of the British Fiennes legacy of
Acting family.
acting families, I guess.
Cool.
But isn't that a great name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hero Finds Tiffin.
Yes,
Like-
he is.
Okay. You couldn't be more British.
Yeah.
Or could he?
Posh. Like, that's a fancy boy name. I'm Hero Finds Tiffin. I've been rewatching. I'm just going back to recommendations corner again. Play the jingle, whoever's editing this.
Recommendations.
I started rewatching Pushing Daisies because Amazon had the whole thing on TV, both seasons for $20. So I got it, and we've been rewatching them, and they are so
it's such a great show.
Such a
Love
great
that show.
It's a perfect little amazing gem of a TV show. It's
Anybody else watch it?
I don't think I've seen.
I did. I think Kristen Chenoweth is in it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
She and what's her Ellen Green do a duet of Birdhouse in Your Soul on that show.
Oh, shit.
It's only 2 seasons, so
Yeah, and they weren't even long seasons because I think there was a writer strike, so there's only like 22 total episodes. Easy to rewatch the whole thing, and it was actually weirdly cheaper to buy the DVD set than to buy it on like Prime.
yeah,
because
it usually is.
It's not free on any of the services that I have, so I had to buy the DVDs. But now I'll have them forever, so that's good.
And you're supporting that.
If anybody wants to watch it, I own the DVDs as well. So.
Well, see, if I had known that, I would have just borrowed yours.
But you didn't ask.
I didn't think to. It didn't occur to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it should have because you have a lot of box set TV. Box sets.
I do have a lot of box sets.
I should have thought of that.
Well, now you can dig his archives.
Yeah, feel free. You can dig my archives whenever
Next time
you want.
I see you, I'll have to browse your DVDs and see if much. You want to play an Only Connect real quick?
Sure.
Yes.
I have some Only Connects prepared.
Yeah, Jacob
Want an
did
easy
really
one
well
or a harder one or a medium?
Dealer's choice.
All right. I'll give you what I think is an easy one. Your first clue is Mr. Fusion.
That's
Things from Back to the
Future.
Items that were theoretical or hypothetical ways to time travel.
You are. Sean's mostly right. It's Back to the Future, but it's more specific than that. Second clue is dehydrated pizza.
Things from the future, Back to the Future?
Things from the future version of Back to the Future, from the 2015 version of Back to the Future. The third clue was self-tying shoes, and the fourth clue was hoverboard. I thought that was an easy one.
That was pretty easy. Yeah, especially because they used the brand name, Mr. Fusion.
Okay, I'll give you one more. Your first clue is Byrne versus Fisher, 1956.
Oh.
Oscar nominations, Best Actor, rivalry something.
That's not it, but that's a really clever and interesting guess. But no, that's not it. You're going to need another clue. Lindbergh baby kidnapping, 1932.
I want to say something like headlines of a newspaper.
Disappearances?
No. Headlines is sort of heading in the right direction.
Well, it was searching for Bobby Fischer and the Lindbergh baby was kidnapped. So is it missing people?
No. Maybe you need one more. Maybe this one you might do it for you. O.J. Simpson trial, 1994 to 95.
Trial of the century?
I mean, that's close enough. It's the blank of the century. So Byrne versus Fisher is a chess match. Bobby Fischer.
Okay. Sorry,
And that was called the game of the century in 1956. Right. The Lindbergh kidnapping was called the crime of the century in 1932. The OJ trial was trial of the century, and the final clue was going to be December 31st, 1999 to January 1st, 2001, which was the turn of the century.
Nice.
So that was of the centuries was the clue.
That was a good one.
Things of the century.
Nicely done, Aaron.
I love this game. I could do this all day. Okay, first clue. Shot Al Capone in the foot.
Shot Al Capone in the foot.
Sounds like a
song. Derringer.
Nope.
It's not something I've ever heard before.
Next clue is crowned Napoleon the First.
Oh, someone who did these things.
Somebody named Josephine.
Hero finds.
It has nothing to do with It doesn't have anything to do with Hero Finds Tiffin. I will tell you. I will give you that right now.
Is it people named John?
No. I think you're going to need another one.
Okay. I was thinking of John Dillinger, and I thought maybe somebody named John else.
That's not a bad guess, too. Presented Irving Berlin's Oscar.
Things done by their brother.
Oh, no, but you're so close. You're so close, Sean.
Things done by their
What's
wives,
closer than a brother?
father.
Even closer.
Wife.
Done by
Even closer.
themselves.
Yes, it's things that people did to themselves.
Oh.
Al Capone accidentally shot himself in the foot by searching for his golf bag that he had a gun in for some reason.
Napoleon crowned himself.
Napoleon crowned himself in 1804.
All right.
He brought the Pope in to do it, but he seized the crown from the Pope and put it on his own head. Irving Berlin was presenting Best Song at the 1942 Academy Awards and opened the envelope, and he won the category that he was presenting.
Wow.
And the fourth clue was going to be amputated Aaron Ralston's arm. Aaron Ralston's the guy from 127 hours who cut his own arm. Those were things that people did to themselves.
Yeah.
All right.
Closer than a
Very
brother.
good.
Closer. Yeah. What's closer?
Are we done? I think we're done, right?
Yeah, wrap it up.
Anything else I want to say? I'm in a chatty mood tonight. I don't know what's going on.
Well, it's been a while since we've been together.
Thank you all very much for listening, and tune in next week for, let's see, what's next week? Pen Pals. Oh, it's a data episode. That's a good one. Something to look forward to next week. Please remember to go to iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts to rate, review, and subscribe. You can follow us on Instagram at Warped the Podcast, and also purchase our merch on Instagram at lunar_flare, FLAIR. You can follow us on Twitter at Warped Trek. You can follow me at Host Warped. You can follow Min to learn about our Dungeons and Dragons and Call of Cthulhu podcasts and live streams at Wet Maynard. You can go to patreon.com/warped to become a subscriber and get access to bonus material and additional episodes. Until next week, my name is Matt.
I'm Sean.
I'm Jake.
Aaron.
Minwin.
Not me.
Yes, thank you for listening. Goodbye. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.